bitches.
Broadcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the broadcast with Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen. My name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is season 7, episode number 31, episode 301. How's it going?
Good.
It's Wednesday. It's Tuesday, so we're recording Wednesday. Bum. Okay, the joke didn't land quite as well as it did in my head.
I like it.
I do too.
Yeah, so we are talking about Netflix's Wednesday this week, and I'm excited to talk about it. I watched it back in December. I rewatched it over the last literally 24 hours. I am ready to go.
Nice.
Really impressive.
Very impressive indeed. Yes.
Yes. What did you guys think?
I loved it. It was so much fun. It was it definitely filled that void that we needed after Sabrina.
I've been saying Sabrina meets Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it was super fun.
But even more satisfying, I think, if that's fair to say.
Yes.
I feel like
I don't know. It's hard to beat Sabrina the first season.
Yeah, the first season
that's fair. I think
par.
I'm sort of, knowing how Sabrina ended, I think that really colored it for me. So
Agreed.
I have a hard time,
Yeah.
I have a hard time setting that aside and looking at the parts of the show I really did like.
Agreed.
Wednesday was a great story, start to finish. It was such a fun ride.
Such a fun ride.
I'm so glad we watched it. I really enjoyed it.
So let me, right before we get too far into it, this show will have spoilers. So if you haven't watched Wednesday yet, 6 thumbs up from Broads here to stop this right now. Go watch the series, season 1. You can watch it in 24 hours. I can attest.
It can be done.
It can be done. And then come back and listen. Because it's a fantastic show. It's great. It's great. And that is all we will say until here is your spoiler warning. Here we go. Actually, you know what? I don't know if we can do an ad break or not, but let's, in case we forget to take one later, let's do one here. So that way, if you've hit the ad, we're going to start with spoilers. And if there is no ad, then that means I grossly miscalculated the 2-minute rule where I think it can't be less than 2 minutes after you start. And you live, you learn. All right, here we go. Ad/spoilers, go. All right, that shit was exactly 3 minutes, and I'm real proud of that. Okay.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, here we are. Wednesday. Fantastic. The Ricci-sans, the Catherine Zeta-Jones-essence is back because she's in a million things now too, including National Treasure, the TV series, which I was caught up on, and then I totally forgot about it. And then when I was rewatching, I was like, oh shit, I got 3 episodes left of that. So, holler.
Nice. I was just going to ask, what else is Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Other than being absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. She looks great.
I always, even in 8th grade and Zorro times, I always had a small crush on her. I think she's so beautiful.
She's absolutely beautiful. Yeah. I will say, so just off the bat, it was really fun to start watching it and get back into that world. Because, Addams Family and Addams Family Values, I feel like those are kind of classics of our childhood.
They are.
So that was fun. But I will say, visually, the first thing off the bat, I was like, there's something wrong with Gomez. What is with this casting? And I did Google it a lot because I remember him being, very attractive in...
It was,
it was Raul Julia.
Yeah, it was Raul Julia.
The stud of the day. The Puerto Rican stud of the day.
So, I Googled it. And, I mean, not to, I'm not trying to judge somebody's appearance, and I think it's fine either way. It's just this, once I would like to see a couple where the dude is a stud and his wife is maybe like less, like you just don't see it the other way around. So that was what led me down that rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. But I learned from the interwebs that actually the casting was much more similar to the original work of Addams Family. That's like more like how they were drawn in the beginning. So apparently,
like the classic, like the TV series.
Yes.
Did you guys watch the TV series when it was on Nick at Night?
Never.
Okay,
No.
I did.
I remember watching it on Nick at Night, but like not enough
Yeah.
have like strong memories of it. I just remember that it was part of the Nick at Night lineup sometimes, and we would watch it sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think maybe that's where I am.
Because
the point that like my original answer is no, but then it's like, oh, maybe, but yeah, not.
Okay, because I definitely did. I think the Munsters were a bigger part of Nick at Night because it was Munster Monday.
I would often confuse Addams Family with the Munsters, certainly. Yeah.
Which I do believe there's a little bit of a shout out to the Munsters in that Christina Ricci's character's, her pseudonym's name is Marilyn, and Marilyn Munster is the normie of the Munsters, the blonde one that looks like Marilyn Monroe.
Funny.
No way.
Mm-hmm. So I just always assume that they named her character Marilyn because, Marilyn is the beautiful one in the Munsters that's considered the freak, and she's the only normie teacher at Nevermore.
And just her being in the series at all was really, really fun. I loved it that they did that. I feel like that could go either way. I loved it.
I loved it too. I think she was great. The Ricci-sans, I am all about.
It was really interesting to, like, having seen her in Yellow Jackets very recently, to then see her in this.
Yes.
Yeah. It's, like, fun to see the evolution of her career and the types of roles that she's taking on at this juncture. And, yeah, it's like, I think, not to jump ahead, but it's like by the time you do get to the big reveal at the end of the season, it's like, oh, right. You don't cast Christina Ricci unless you're really going to give her something meaty to do.
Yes.
And it's like
So, did you guys guess who the bad guys were at the end?
Kind of, yeah.
Not until we got closer to the end. I think I was sort of all in on, like, the misdirect.
And with that, it was Xander.
With Xander and the psychiatrist.
So
like until it was like so they're like, oh, when it got very obvious in like episode 7, it's like, okay, so this is not actually who it is, because we wouldn't be revving up to this with an episode to go. Right, okay, you got me. Like, peel back, what's actually happening here?
I always in the back of my head was like, oh, Christina Ricci, because I'm always on the lookout, like, why would a big actor take a part like that? But I also thought maybe she did it for the nostalgia, because why wouldn't you do it for the nostalgia? And that was like my personal red herring. I actually I did think it was the shrink from probably episode 2. Where I was like, it's got to be her, because like Gwendolyn Christie's character, it was too obvious. Yeah. Why would they give us that reveal at the end of episode 2 or whatever? Like, so I kept thinking it was her. And then, once we had that moment, I was like, oh shit, maybe he turned on her and she was the bad guy. And then, I just kind of didn't see it all coming, but that's what she said. Yeah. But I thought it played out really great. And what I also like particularly enjoyed was the first time around, I didn't see all of the clues, but then when you rewatch it, just like Flight Attendant, it's pretty obvious. Like, even the way Christina Ricci delivers her lines, like, you think she's just being campy, but she's not.
Right. That's why, like, I so wanted to go back and watch and see, like, where the clues were, because I feel like they started it really hard, where she like walks in and like her red boots are dirty, and you're like, okay, like, we're gonna think that she's the bad guy, like, okay, but like, it's going in the wrong. Same thing with Xander in the beginning. You're like, okay, we get it, like, you need us to think that this is the bad guy. And then they start to like just weave the story in such a way that you're like, oh, well, wait, maybe Xander is the bad guy and he doesn't know he's the bad guy.
Yeah. Because I briefly had that thought too. And
they just start to pull you away from Christina Ricci and sort of push you so subtly towards the psychiatrist that you kind of forget about it was just I just loved how they set the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, there's that whole sequence in which it's not the Painted Black sequence. It's gosh, what's the other song she plays? I'll remember it in a second, but like where they're doing another montage and she's got like her creepy little like hobby tchotchke things and you're like, oh, she's weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say the taxidermy is fucking creepy as fuck.
Mm-hmm. So it's a good trope, throwing some taxidermy and this is not a right dude.
Yeah. But then it's like, okay, on a scale of like, beginning, middle, end, when do we see the taxidermy? Because it's like Chekhov's taxidermy, or is it like hit you over the head with the taxidermy?
Right.
Here it wasn't quite Chekhov's taxidermy, but it was close. All the characters were great too, which was a thing I think that we all really loved about Sabrina.
Yes.
Yes. Even the enemies were just frenemies, even in the end. And I really liked that. I liked that wolfing out was essentially like getting your period, basically.
Yes. Yep. Yes, so fun, so cool.
Oh, there was actually a significant amount of episodes the first time I watched it in which I truly thought that it was Enid who was the bad guy and that she was secretly wolfing out but didn't know it.
Oh.
And that was my running theory for a while. What?
Right, because so many of the characters had really big eyes.
Yeah.
So I feel like they were constantly trying to layer in this like just subtle line of suspicion for like everybody. You're like, oh, well, they have big eyes too. Like maybe it's them. It's like at one point Daniel's like, maybe it's that like driver that you see in the very beginning and the very like first scene before the hiker gets mauled. Like maybe it's that person. It's like, okay, well, we never see them again. It's not that person. But it's like they lay the suspicion like pretty quick and pretty fast.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's got big eyes. Like everybody's got something a little weird. Like it could be anybody.
They kept showing her claws. That was the only thing she had.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, I was like, oh, well, maybe they keep showing that to be like, no, she can shred a bitch. Like,
yeah.
It's all you need. It's all you need.
And what about Brienne of Tarth? That was a trip.
She was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Gwendolyn Christie.
I love her.
It took me like a second. And then I was like, holy shit. She is a tall woman.
How tall is she? She's like over 6 feet.
She has to be. Because she's super tall. But also Jenna Ortega has to be super short. Because basically everyone next to her looked very tall.
She's like, I feel like she's on par with Christina Ricci. And Christina Ricci is not tall.
No, Christina Ricci is not tall. And they found someone shorter.
6'3".
Wow. Good for her.
Very tall.
Yeah.
She wears it well. Like she's
she does.
Oh yes.
I do love that like the role she takes now that are these very sort of ultra glam and feminine and it just
I thought
it just helps her own her just presence.
I believe
it was really fun to see her after such like a masculine role in Game of Thrones. It was fun to see that.
And I believe she gave an interview when the show first premiered that she was a little self-conscious but excited because it was the first time she actually got to take a role where she felt like beautiful and like feminine doing.
And she was.
And she was.
That, I think, the height really like added to her headmistress type, role and power and she was great.
She was great, and I'm actually very sad that we probably won't get her character back.
Yeah.
That's actually, I had gotten that piece of it spoiled because I saw like an infographic that popped up that Angelica Houston is on board for the next season as the principal.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, so I was like, oh darn.
It's like bittersweet.
Guess something happens to Weems.
I did not know this.
Yeah, me neither. That's fucking great.
And I am fucking excited.
It was just like, it was one of those, you're sort of scrolling, wasting time, and then I was like, oh gosh darn. This is very exciting, but also very sad for me.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be some flashbacks.
Well, did that graphic give you, like, do you ever, like, oh, shit, Gwendolyn Christie must be the murderer?
No, it was, like, after the, like, untimely demise, or, like, it was just, like, worded in a way that's, like, oh, she died, but it, like, gave me nothing other than that. So it was like, okay, I'll just have to watch and find out.
Okay. Yeah.
So when that, like, when this, you know, when she finally does, when she does die, it was like, okay, I knew this was coming, but, like, I didn't know how it was coming, so I guess it's still exciting and startling, but...
Yeah.
God, that entire sentence is a match that she said next week.
Yeah.
I didn't know how it was coming, but it was exciting and startling. And
you're welcome.
The casting was just great. Just like with Sabrina, and not to keep going back to that, just like, you know, the chemistry and the relationships were just so well written between all of them.
Yeah.
And I liked that. So I think what happened with Sabrina, and what happens with so many shows after they get their first season, is they try to expand and make it so complicated with, you know, the relationships. And, yes, exactly. Like, just so complicated. And I liked that what they did was, you know, everybody kind of had a backstory, but it was enough to, like, appreciate the character, but it wasn't so much so that you were like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, I love the character, what's his name? The one that became Enid's boyfriend at the end with the Gorgon.
Oh, the Medusa guy?
The Medusa guy, yeah, the Gorgon, or whatever it's called.
Gorgon, yeah.
And Bianca's character. I'm sorry, I keep hitting this.
Yeah, the eyes still creep me out a little bit, but...
Those blue contacts, man. Blue contacts never look as good. As somebody that tried green contacts in, like, 8th grade, colored contacts never look as good as you think they're going to. I did. It was a 2-week throwaway pair, and that was the extent of my,
Now, okay, here's
brown
a
eyes.
question. And this question is for the Real Weird Sisters. Did they hurt your eyes?
Me?
Yeah. Oh. Your color contacts. Because Daniel Radcliffe, like, the whole thing with him not having the right color eyes, it's like he says that the contacts hurt his eyes or something.
Well, that's because he was, like, 5 when they started, so I could see that. Any contacts would have hurt his eyes.
Yeah, any foreign object in a child's eyes is going to be uncomfortable.
Is there an age limit for contacts?
I got mine in 6th grade, and they were...
11. Perfect.
Yeah. They were not super pleasant in the beginning until you got used to them. They're still not super pleasant, let's be honest.
Yeah,
but,
it still takes me about a half an hour to put in contacts, because I do it, like, once every 2 or 3 years.
Oh, yeah, that's why.
That's why just don't see far away on those days. Can't wear glasses. I just don't see far away.
Yeah,
price you pay.
My first experience with contacts on my own was much like my first experience trying to do a tampon on my own. It was it took a long time, and it was very unpleasant. But I got there in the end. Everything got into the proper placement.
It makes you feel any better. My mother was in there with me, and it was still unpleasant, and didn't really work. Printer.
Okay, I was just like, oh my God, what's going on at Shandy's house?
And the facts.
She's laughing, but she's muted.
Like, do we need to be printing right now when I'm podcasting?
Sir.
She asks to herself. Also kind of reminds me of Sex Lives of College Girls with the printer, and she's like uses up all the ink from one of the roommates. She's like, well, it was kind of your fault. Like, it's 2023. Why do you even have a printer?
Yeah. You know, when she said that line, Jay looked at me and was like, yes. And I was like, except you use my printer all the time, so stop it. Gosh, okay, what else? What else is there to talk about with this?
I loved the friendship between Wednesday and Enid. I thought that was really sweet.
I loved the whole running thing with they don't hug, that's kind of their thing, and then after they go through the traumatic experience of fighting off, Blackstone and the Hyde at the end, they get back together and hug. I thought that was so sweet.
Yeah, it was very sweet. I'm always here for like strong female characters and female friendships.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's what I think that's what we liked about, generally what we like about shows that we cover.
Yeah.
Well, and just how authentic they felt. Like even in this, fantastical world, that felt like a real, authentic teenage girl friendship.
Yeah. Agreed. Let's see.
And Eugene. I also liked the friendship with Eugene.
Yes.
Oh, yes. That
Hummers
was so
stick together.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So wonderful.
I'm still not sure what his, special skill is.
Beekeeping? Right. He can control the bees.
He can control the bees. Right. That's it. Yeah.
Because Hummers stick together. He came and he, saved her at the end with the bees.
Yeah. There was a moment where what it ended up being Bianca, right? That stabs.
She stabs him in the back to distract him.
But I had a moment where I was like, Eugene! It's gonna be Eugene! And I was like, oh, Bianca. Yeah, no, I'm here for that too. That's yeah. But I was so certain that he was gonna fall and we were gonna see sweet little Eugene.
No, agreed. But then he got the bees at the end.
And he got the bees. Yeah, he still got his moment.
And I will say I'm here for strong female characters, female friendships, but also friendships between men and women, or mixed friendships, if you will. That are platonic and just platonic.
I love that Gen Z shows are very big on that.
Yes.
It never turns into a will they, won't they, or friend zone thing or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I really do enjoy that the Gen Z shows, are pretty heavy on that.
They understand what friendship is.
Yes. And, very little competition. Oh, speaking of competition, how great was the whole sequence with the rowing competition?
That was pretty intense.
What was it called?
Really fun.
Yeah.
Super fun. I particularly like how they just are all down to sabotage each other.
Yeah. Anything goes.
Thing. Can we talk about Thing?
Thing was great.
Thing was my favorite about the entire series. I loved that he's always there for everyone. Especially when
his friendship with Enid was great,
and when she wolfs out at the end, and then he goes and just holds her hand to let her know she's not alone.
Oh,
who was the hand model? Sweet. Who was the hand model? Got lucky enough to be Thing.
I always wonder about how do they do that?
I mean, and just wrote so much character into just a hand.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Yeah.
A lot of it is also just the characters that are interacting with, the hand. But it just, it was such a fully fleshed out character. It was just a severed hand.
Pun intended. Oh my god. No, I mean, Thing was my favorite character, I think. Other than, obviously, Wednesday. But, I just genuinely enjoyed it. I too grieved for Thing. I was like, Fester, you better electrocute him the fucking back to whatever pulse he has.
I was like, Thing can't die.
Yeah. Well, I also like that it was a grittier thing. It's you think about, maybe that's just sort of where we've come with, our, ability to create characters and virtual effects and stuff. But you think of the 90s Addams Family, and it was just a nice, soft, supple hand.
Very soft, yes.
And
soft
this
as a baby's bottom.
Yeah, this hand was had some Frankenstein going to it with all the random stitches, and I liked that extra. It felt more
agreed, which
authentic to the Addams Family-ish.
Yes, I thought so too.
Seen some things.
I think I've seen some things. Yeah.
And it's also alluded to that some of it were actually just injuries at the hands of the Addams family themselves.
Oh, I missed that.
There's one joke, and I caught it the first time around, and I did not catch it the second time. But the joke is something with the pinky or one of the fingers getting cut off, And then, like, you can clearly see in the next scene after there's, like, a reference to it that it's been, like, stitched back on.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no way.
Yet another reason to rewatch.
Yeah.
Exactly. Regardless of our conversation, I'm just gonna have to go back and watch it all again. That's a fun little bit I totally missed.
Yeah, me too. I will say though, back in the 90s, I remember being really impressed with Thing though too. They did a good job with Thing back in the day.
Yeah.
Even if it was very different, but like for that era.
Yeah. Yeah. No, agreed.
But this one was definitely like stepping it up a notch.
I love that. I love that nobody was phased by Thing. Everybody was just like, oh, there's Thing. Okay, what do you got to say? And like they picked up on his language pretty quickly, whether it was sign language or just like, whatever. When he stole the dress.
Yeah, the like 958th reason I would like to know sign language is like I wondered if some of that if that was actual ASL a little bit, some of them.
Some of it was,
and I don't know because I don't know ASL.
I actually learned ASL as a kid, so I still remember certain of the more popular signs and the alphabet. But it was going actually very quickly for me to, and especially today when I was trying to, just jot down notes and just get through it. But I mean, they was doing real letters like
real
A,
letters,
B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
I guess I kind of remember the alphabet. We learned that in 2nd grade. That was the extent of our.
Yeah. No, my brain did not have room for that. So goodbye.
Well, when I was in 2nd grade, our teacher taught us the alphabet, and at the same time, in the apartment complex where we lived, my brother had a friend who was deaf, and so I remember like seeing her talk to her mom and being like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
And then always wanting to learn it and it's never too late.
Never too late. No. Never too late.
I was thinking about this prior to, because of the interpreter at the Super Bowl on Sunday.
Oh my God,
I was thinking about
amazing.
I haven't had too much time. I've kind of missed this story, but I've
watched
seen,
the video.
She was into it
on my Instagram.
She was
okay.
I mean, if you want to see what Bitch Better Have My Money looks like in sign language, it's just as great as you'd imagine.
But that's one of the things that I love so much about ASL is that it's like a full body experience, feels like.
Yeah,
and so
expressive.
Anytime that I've seen, interpreters sign music, it's just like so joyful and so like really adds to the experience.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Oh, clearly having an awesome time and like a performance unto herself.
Yeah. She was what was like, man, I should go back and refresh because I did actually because I learned it so young. I learned it in like kindergarten that like Did
you just learn it in school?
No, we used to live when I was growing up, I lived in a condominium until I was in 3rd grade, and it was right next to our public library. So we used to take classes and stuff there all the time on the weekends because we could just walk there. And sign language ASL was one of the classes offered, and
I love the shit out of that.
It was really cool. Like I said, I was very young. It was up until then. The reason my fingers crack actually now, my thumbs, this was a thing I discovered in like 1st or 2nd grade taking the sign language classes. So my fingers were always like my knees, just use them and you crack too much. But we used to do these performances, like these recitals, and I still kind of remember how to do the Heal the World by Michael Jackson.
Nice.
We did that. We did a whole bunch of them. Obviously, we did recitals like once however long the library course lasted. But yeah. Anyway, it was cool. Thing was great. What's the B dude? He was great. Eugene.
Uncle
fantastic.
Fester, a great Fred Armisen cameo.
Yes, he was a great Fester.
I love Fred Armisen cameo. Like he just like pops up in the weirdest places, and you're like, wait, what? You're like, hang in there.
Yeah. Oh, there you are.
I love what they did with Uncle Fester in this one. He felt weirder, and like more criminal, but in like a fun and funny way.
In like an interesting way. Not just
yeah, like him more as his own sort of character and not just, the uncle.
But I will.
Right. Like less like a plot device and more like a fully realized. Like although his character was a short, confined to one episode, like it felt more like a realized person
definitely.
as opposed to just kind of the butt of the joke.
Yes.
No, it was great. I really liked that.
Yeah. I think that Fester's character is best left for those like 1 or 2 episodes a season.
Yeah.
Like I think it would be overkill if it was more than that.
Yeah. It was like the perfect amount.
Yeah. So it was Christopher Lloyd was Uncle Fester in the movies, right?
Yes.
Oh shit.
Hold on, let me look it up real quick because I had it. Okay.
Yeah, that's wild.
The movie came out in 1991.
That's what I'm saying, our childhood.
Okay, yeah, it was Christopher Lloyd was
That's
Uncle
pretty
Fester.
wild.
That is pretty wild. Oh my god. But no, I thought that it was also good because throughout because he's in episode 7, the first 6 episodes, Wednesday kind of sets him up. Like, I have an uncle that went to jail for that. I have an uncle that used to do that. And you're like, so like, it was kind of like personifying him without him even being there. So like, when you got there, we were ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I did kind of wonder how it was going to work, in the very beginning when I started watching it, of like just focusing on Wednesday, who, granted, is probably my favorite character in the family, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But like, if it's not the whole family, what's that going to be like? And I think they sprinkled in the family like just the right amount.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it was like very, very much her story, but yeah, it was like fun. I feel like every time the family dropped in, it was like, oh right, I'm ready for some Catherine Zeta-Jones to come back. Like I'm ready. It felt like logically placed along like the story, but also along like Wednesday's journey. Yeah. Like she was sort of ready to have someone start, to guide her through her visions. And like, it was just like the family sort of dropped in.
Yes. And I think
in like meaningful parts of the story.
Yes. I think that that's what actually made the series work more was that Wednesday's like aura and personality is so different than the rest of her family. And I think it would have been too over the top to have them, like, a separate storyline going on with what was going on in the Addams house. Like, I think that would have just been too much. Just because they're all such big characters. At least Gomez and Morticia are, and Fester is too. So I liked just having, Wednesday and Thing being our 2 main characters, representing.
And I like how they sort of set that up too. Like, that like, the parents take up all the oxygen in the room, like whenever they're there. And I think that was really played out in a really interesting and like efficient way. So that like when they dropped Wednesday off at school, it's like, okay, like you're sort of shedding this extra thing. So there's more room for her character to breathe.
Yes.
And gosh, wow. I didn't even really think about that until you mentioned it.
And it felt
they do take up all the room in the
and that felt very organic for a 15-year-old who is going to school and coming into her own, which is essentially what this story was like Wednesday's coming of age story, but without being a coming of age story, right down to her first kiss being with a mass murderer.
It happens to everybody, right?
She has a type. She has a type.
She has a type. Yeah. When I liked the whole like dove raven thing, I thought that was a cool moment and a cool sort of plot point. And
and I think Catherine Zeta-Jones, I can't do CZJ, and is it Luis
Guzman?
Luis Guzman. I think they did a fine job portraying the essence of Gomez and Morticia.
Yes.
I did.
Yes, definitely.
I wonder if we'll get like Pugsley transferring to Evermore at some point.
I wonder.
I could see him. He's, a side enough quiet character that I could see him. Like, your little brother is now joining you here.
What about those piranhas?
Oh my God. So the first time I watched it, I was not paying attention. And I was just like, I'm sorry, what just happened? And Jay was like, she unleashed piranhas to bite off his testicles. And I was like, wait, what? I think I have to pay attention now.
I remember like being a kid, like learning about piranhas. That was like, tales of like crazy lore and, stuff to like keep you up at night. Mm-hmm. And then as an adult, I always sort of wondered if like how much of that is true. And then watching it, I was like, is this what piranhas would actually do if you dropped them in a pool? Or is it just what we all sort of thought of as kids? And I don't know. Do you guys know?
Right. Well, and would the chlorine of a chlorinated pool kill the piranha?
Or
that's fair.
It was a pretty fancy school, so maybe it was saltwater.
Saltwater pool. An Olympic saltwater swimming pool.
Those rich jocks will sell for nothing less.
Right?
Okay, wait, I had to Google it.
Okay.
Again, I feel like this is like the mythology, right? That we grew up with.
So say, please tell me, wait, can you just tell me your exact search terms? Was it, do piranhas eat testicles?
It was do piranhas, and then Google suggested eat people, so I just
that works.
Amazing. Do piranhas eat people? While piranhas have a reputation for being ferocious man-eaters, they rarely attack and hardly ever kill humans. Red-bellied piranhas are the most aggressive and have been known to bite humans in the dry season when food may be scarce, but these attacks are usually not fatal. So, like, probably, I mean, it was like a bunch of like rabid piranhas. It's probably not. I think they were leaning into like the mythology of our childhood.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's specifically of our childhood, but I specifically remember that as a kid, like thinking that if you were ever in water with a piranha, it would like, yeah.
Well, it was like just sort of outlandish enough that it really sort of drops you into the story.
Yeah,
like, all right, right. This is a Tim Burton thing. Okay, we're here with you now.
Right.
Piranhas, we're here. Got it. Yeah. It's that kind of story.
I do kind of want to Google, though, do piranhas eat testicles?
Go for it. I'm surprised that didn't automatically show up for you, because...
It may have, but just it wasn't the first one.
Yeah, because you know a lot of people Google that after watching Wednesday. Wednesday was the top most watched show on Netflix.
Yep. Piranhas that dance.
We're not the first people to wonder this. Also, you can just type in "do piranhas eat dicks?" I'm sure that will bring you to the same search, same results.
That's kind of what I would have thought I would have gone for first, but
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a National Geographic article from 2013 that says fears of testicle-eating fish overblown.
So. All right, there we go.
Take all the fun out of it.
All the fun.
Only on Wednesday. But it was effective.
Yeah. Amanda, you mentioned the dance. We got to talk about the dance. The dance is fantastic.
I mean, how could we do about a show about Wednesday and not talk about like the viral moment of our time?
Lady Gaga is obsessed with the Wednesday dance. Okay,
that makes sense.
Just about every human being that breathes air and has a social media account.
But no, Gaga was all about that shit when it came
really
out.
feel like that checks out though, like 100%.
Oh yeah,
like
anybody was going to be a Wednesday fan.
Energy.
It was good.
I feel like that could have been a choreography in a Lady Gaga video.
Exactly. Well, Jenna Ortega actually gave an interview or she posted on like Twitter or TikTok or something that she 7, 8, 9 years ago was a huge Lady Gaga fan and got to went to her concert and got to meet her, and then Gaga didn't know. I don't think she knew who. I don't think she was like a actress or star back then. Mm-hmm. And she's like, and now we've come full circle that she wants to learn my dance. And I thought that was super cool.
No big deal.
That's cool.
You guys know the story behind the dance, right?
No.
It was improvised, right? That she came up with it herself?
She had COVID and was symptomatic, and they would not let her test until she finished filming it.
What?
Yeah.
How many other people did she give COVID to because of that decision?
I don't know.
I like the dance, but like, damn, that feels like...
Was it worth it?
Yeah.
But that was one of the first things. That was one of the.
Look a little sick.
Yeah, that was one of the first things that they actually.
The makeup.
Yeah, no, that she gave an interview. I was like, yeah, I had COVID while we were filming that. You know, I was symptomatic, and I got to test at the end of the day, and turns out I was positive. I'm like, oh my god.
So COVID protocols don't apply to the stars, I guess. Just applies to everybody else.
Tell me that
I was going to say how things have changed since 2020 and 2021.
It's like, tell me that you feel really bad and want to call some people out without telling me you want to call some people out when that's one of your first interviews, is to be like, yeah, I love you guys, love that dance, but I was fucking sick. She's also said just like she had the, very long, like 14-hour days that started at like 4 a.m. and, was just tough on her because she's, but... Anyway.
She really isn't just about every scene.
I know, because I was actually thinking about that, like, while I was watching it the second time. Was, okay, I know she had COVID, so how many scenes without her in them could they have filmed for that week when she couldn't be on set?
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. Okay, so I found online the Lady Gaga story with... So... Gaga was obsessed with the dance. She released a TikTok of her doing it. And then Jenna Ortega said, like, in an interview, that she used to work with a hairdresser that used to work with Lady Gaga. And she'd seen her in concert in Boston. And the hairdresser, had Gaga sent her a video being like, hi, Jenna, I heard you're a fan. It was a sweet video. I doubt she had any idea who I was. But now to see her do the Wednesday dance on TikTok, it's one of those moments that you acknowledge life changes really fast. It's crazy.
Oh.
That makes me so happy for her. Yeah, no, she's fantastic. And,
she's
obviously.
Great.
Yeah.
She is wonderful. She's a great... and, like, I loved Christina Ricci as Wednesday. And it's... In the very beginning of the first episode, it was a little bit weird just to see somebody else in that role, but she's great. I'm fully on board.
The other cello song, speaking of, the cello montages were spectacular, but Painted Black, obviously always love a good Painted Black cover. I even like the Vanessa Carlton Painted Black cover, and that's not a great cover, but I still think it's fun.
I didn't know she did one.
She totally does. It's from her first album. It's like one of the last songs on it.
I don't know about this.
It's what you would imagine Vanessa Carlton doing Painted Black is, but like she's so like she puts her whole like heart into it that you could tell that like she just really loved the song and was like, I want this on my album. So like I can't hate on it. Anyway,
okay, yeah, fair.
It's the same as I feel about anytime I hear All Along the Watchtower cover. I generally appreciate them. I don't know, because I just like the song.
It's like, do we need one more in the world?
No, right?
Maybe just, do like the rest of us and just, like, do it in the shower. Just, like, sing the song in the shower. Like, maybe you don't need to put it on an album.
When we were in Germany, we stayed in the castle, and the city walls started at the castle, and they, like, enclosed the city, and there were 4 different watchtowers, and as I was walking the city, every single time I passed one, I had to sing All Along the Watchtower, and at one point, Jay was like, you don't have to sing that every time, and I was like, you don't have to sing Castle on a Hill every time you walk up the fucking hill, right? Okay. Like, look,
we all have our loops.
Exactly, there's 4 of them. So one Watchtower, I'm going to do the Marley version. The other one, I'm going to do the Dave Matthews version. The other one, I'm going to do the Bob Dylan version. All right, look. I'm going to do the Bear McCreary version another time. Like, it's fine. I'm doing 4 different versions that just happen to sound almost the same. It's great.
Anytime I'm playing cards, I always sing the Ace of Spades whenever anyone throws that card down. Sometimes I do it in my head to, like, not be annoying. I'm doing it.
Exactly.
Man, I'm giving Matt so much. That's what she said this week.
It's Valentine's
I'm
Day.
starting to hear I'm starting to hear myself. I'm like, ooh. That's probably one.
Do you want to record that?
You want to record that? This episode.
What's the line? I'm searching for the line in Arrested Development.
There's got to be a better way to say that.
Yes.
Speaking of Arrested Development, we got the sad news that it's going off of Netflix soon. It will still be on Hulu.
Still be on Hulu.
But
and you saying that you have the DVDs reminded me that I somehow have the DVDs.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure I have a DVD player, but so we got half the battle.
Half the battle.
That's true. We have a ton of DVDs, and I don't think we have a way to play any of them anymore. So why do we still have them?
Our DVD player I bought off of Facebook Marketplace after Alex was born when I didn't want to pay for the Beachbody subscription, but I had all the Beachbody DVDs. So I found a DVD for like a player for like $10 on Marketplace and was like, we're buying this.
I get it.
Which now I think you can just get one for $10 at like Walmart, but still.
Yeah.
No, I am all in to talk about Arrested Development later in the year if you guys want to do that. I know 3 seasons,
100%.
even at 25 minutes each is a lot. But I just want you to know
started now.
I am here for it.
Yeah.
And
I actually started rewatching season 1 a little bit ago because I think probably because I got incepted on this podcast.
yeah, probably.
Yeah, and I needed like a funny show to watch, and I had been trying to watch Community because everyone says it's good.
Oh, it's so good.
It's just so meh.
Oh no!
I have a really hard time.
It's not for everybody. It's a weird sense, in the same way that like Arrested Development can not necessarily be.
That's true.
But
the Dan Harmon,
it's so funny.
The Dan Harmon sense of humor isn't for everyone.
It's just like, okay, everyone gets it. You're being meta. It's a commentary on TV. You're making references to movies.
Oh, I don't know.
Got it.
Jay rewatches. It's that Parks and Rec and The Office that Jay rewatches all the time, and
Parks and Rec and The Office, I will get behind.
No, I do love Community too. I have
I can't. I'm in the 3rd season, and I can't bring myself to slog through it, so I had to switch.
Oh man, that makes me so sad because if you're not into it by season 3, then you're not going to get into it.
No, by season 3.
Did you watch the paintball episode?
The paintball's fun, but
it's a classic. It's a TV classic.
It's just it feels very long by the 3rd time you're paintballing.
No, it's so good. And then the second paintball episode, I think is a 2-parter, but it has Sawyer from Lost on it.
Parter. Do we need?
There's a second one though. It's like later on. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Arrested Development, thumbs up.
Always thumbs up.
There's always money in the banana stand.
There's always money in the banana stand. I say it all the time. And sometimes people get it, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes you just have to let the joke just hang there like a fart.
I always say it's just a banana, Michael. What could it cost? $10? $10? We buy bananas like every other week. And every time I'm putting them in the thing to weigh them to get the little barcode, I'm like, not $10. 6 of them for $1.50, baby. Oh gosh, but cello. That's where we were before.
Right, Painted Black.
The other song is "Nothing Else Matters" that she plays. That's the one where they're doing like the creepy taxidermy tchotchke montage thing
before they light the statue ablaze.
Yes. And I have to say, if there were going to be 2 songs they were going to cover on instrumental, orchestral, Metallica and Rolling Stones, good artists to go to.
Yep. I love a rock song interpreted on a cello. I am here for that just about every time.
Isn't that why we love the soundtrack to White Girl movies so much? Because it had a lot of really great rock songs that were just toned down. It was a great soundtrack.
As instrumental on a cello, I am just
toxic.
Just the basic bee in me will just eat that up every single time.
It kind of made me want to learn cello.
Yeah,
sort of
makes me regret the violin, and maybe I should have just gone for the cello.
I still have my violin.
Oh, for a hot minute and not very well.
I played violin.
Cool too.
Did you play an instrument, Shandy?
I played a baritone when I was in 5th grade because that's one of the ones that was free. And then I went into choir in 6th grade because that was definitely free.
Yeah, sort of
by bringing voice. Yeah.
The only reason I did the violin for as long as I did because a friend's dad had a violin they weren't using and lent it to him.
Nice.
Yeah.
I did my
It's kind of weird that like when you start like the band stuff, it like breaks down along socioeconomic lines. It's like, these kids are too young for this. Come on.
Well, it's the same with sports too. Sports are the same thing, and that's all. This is all a whole nother conversation. But Zachary is in ukulele club now.
Oh, that is amazing.
I keep saying I'm gonna bust out my ukulele again and pick it back up.
Yeah, they meet 8 a.m. on Thursdays, so super fun.
It's such a fun instrument. It's very portable.
Yeah.
I have a little travel one. It's basically like a plastic instrument.
So I had gotten Jay in, I think it was 2020, I had gotten him a ukulele because that's what he wanted. So Zachary's been practicing. I have this adorable video. I'll send it to you guys. It's not that long, but it's him singing it like, because they're teaching them like, 1, 2, 3, 4 the strings. He's like 4, 4, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, and he sings it like in good harmony too. And when he plucked it for the first time, he was like, "Daddy, this is not in tune." And Jay was like,
"Oh snap!"
Yeah, he was like, Oh snap! Speaking of, I loved this. The secret snap was I loved it every time.
Well, it's like they use that in the trailer, and I was like waiting for it to like come back and see how it came into the episode. And I'm like, oh, that's so good. That's so good.
Yeah.
I was actually, the first time I watched it, I was trying to keep like an ear out for more like theme song references after the snap thing. I did not catch anybody calling her kooky though, and that kind of made me sad.
Missed opportunity.
Right?
Yeah. Season 2.
Yeah. Not even Uncle Fester. He's the kooky one. The rest of us have like, crazy racist uncles that watch Fox News. She has like Uncle Fester, who's just kooky.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. I think that we've covered everything. Shandy, this episode is going to be released on your birthday in 10 days. An early / on time happy birthday.
Thank you. As a side note, I would just remind everyone that I dressed up as Wednesday for Halloween last year. I feel like this is very universe.
A witch, a Wednesday, and a murder. Oh shit! That actually perfectly describes the first season of Wednesday. Because Goody Adams was a witch.
Yeah.
Right. Wednesday was her ancestor.
Yes.
And there was a murder.
And there was a murder.
Oh, that was a question I wanted to bring up, because it's like I do remember watching the movies as a kid, but like I don't think I have quite as much attachment to them as maybe you guys do. Was the family heritage as big of a piece of those movies? Like they very clearly drew the line that like the Addams are Mexican, like they're of Mexican descent in this series, and I was like, oh. I don't remember that being a thing in the 90s movies. And maybe just because I'm not as familiar with them. Yeah. Okay.
So
I thought that was a nice thing to really just like plant that flag in the sand. They really leaned into that, like the Addams family are Hispanic American. Like they're Latin American, and they really like leaned into that. And I thought that was really cool.
Yes. If I remember correctly, and we rewatched Addams Family and Addams Family Values during like 2021. So it's been like 2 years, and I watched the TV show, but I was a kid. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. If I remember correctly, family is a big deal, like in the movies and the show, but I think it's very like nondescript, like the nationality of the families. But I also love that didn't she speak Spanish at one point where she was telling them, when she's working on the Goodwill Day or whatever, and she's working in the fudge shop, and she like tells all the tourists she was like, and in
she
Spanish.
Was German for that.
Was it German?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, she was speaking German for that.
Okay, because I just remember like the subtitles were like, and here's where we bought this on the backs of natives and indigenous people and blah blah blah, blah. Like another lie about America. And I was like,
which is like a
Gen Z show
to the Pilgrims. Like the play, the Thanksgiving play.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, her dad's name is Gomez.
Right.
Like, it's not John. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, it was the entire what's it called? Was written by somebody named Charles Adams. So let's see. Was Charles Adams Mexican? Charles Adams was born in Westfield, New Jersey in 1912. Well, let's see. Let me just do a quick search of.
And isn't that where the Adams family lives? They live in New Jersey. I know there was a reference to New Jersey in the series. In Wednesday, which is like, I was like, oh, is that where the Adams family's from? Was this a thing that was like in the 90s movies, and I just don't remember that like detail?
I mean, if it is, I don't remember either.
I don't either, but
it did feel. I mean, it does feel sort of New England.
Well, like Nevermore is like in Vermont or something.
Yeah.
Yes, I got that impression too. It was like Maine, Vermont, some like really fancy part of something on the East Coast. It kind of just screamed that to me.
Yeah, because I don't know. I don't think Jericho is like, I think it's a made up town, but like they were referencing other towns that would be that that are real.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also loved all. I mean, sometimes they kind of hit you over the head with it, but like all the references to like the weird things that Wednesday was into, or the Edgar Allan Poe stuff, like the school dance was called the Raven. There were some things that I was like, okay, we get it, guys, but I also appreciate it at the same time.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Does anybody else have anything about Wednesday? Otherwise, we will move into feedback and see what the rest of you had to say.
I do have one more question, I realized.
Oh, yes, I do too, actually. I wonder if we have the same question.
What is Xavier's power? Other than just being an artist whose like artwork comes to life. Like, what is his outcast?
I thought he was a seer.
Is he a seer?
That not like visions like Wednesday, but a seer that he like sees through the painting. That was what I kind of got.
I truly had no idea. I'm like, what is it he does here?
That was that he was like a seer of some sort and like came out through the drawings. But that was just kind of my interpretation.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't like, because I feel like all the other characters, it was either explicitly said or was like very clear what like camp within the outcast community they fell in, and I feel like I missed whatever it was that he was, so I was just curious if someone had heard and knew.
Now I kind of want to rewatch that very first scene where Enid is introducing everybody to and she's going on, she's like, and these are the blah blah blah, these are the some blah 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 blah, these are the outcasts and the outcasts.
Shades of Clueless.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like everyone's sort of clearly put in their camps, and I was like, oh, I missed what one Xavier was. Which, and maybe that was intentional because it helps you believe that he could be the Hyde and like that's his thing, and like that's the monster, the camp that he falls into. But
the Hyde has been in other supernatural shows.
Oh, has it?
For sure.
I had never heard of it before, but like I certainly understand like the whole like Jekyll and Hyde sort of relation. I get it. I've never heard of it before.
I'm blanking now, but like 100%, I watch all those types of shows, like even the CW ones, and I am 1,000% positive. I know if Matt was here, he would tell me right away. I don't know if it was like Supernatural itself or Nancy Drew, but like there's definitely been a TV show, probably a CW show that I've watched where the Hyde ended up being a character that, was like a surprise like villain at the end. Right. And it's driving me nuts now. I can't remember, but like, that's definitely not like something that was made up for this show.
Is it part of Greek mythology? That's like one of...
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not part of Greek mythology. I don't know. It's definitely not. It's definitely not like exclusive to that. But like Jekyll and Hyde comes from the book, and that's not Greek mythology.
Right.
Right, but it could be.
But I mean, that could be exactly. It's like who comes from what.
Yeah.
If you look up Hyde. Hyde is also a Japanese musician.
Oh,
nice.
That's the first thing that pops up when I Google it.
He is in the the Van Helsing League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So that character is in that. But I know it's gotta be a TV. Oh, okay, yeah, it is. It's from a 2015 episode of Supernatural. So there we go. Okay. Anyway, all right. Cool. Getting back to it. Okay. My last question that I had actually was the very end monologue that Wednesday gives. She says that there are threads not tied up and questions unanswered, and perhaps that's, for another season, essentially. And we get the title card. Then we see that, what's his face goes full hide in the ambulance, and it goes blank, and then the title card says there'll be a season 2. So what threads are not tied up, and what questions were unanswered that you can think of off the top of your head?
Questions that we will pose in the second season that weren't necessarily left unanswered, that we didn't necessarily talk about in season 1. Yeah, I mean, it was all pretty much tied up, right? It's a good point. Sort of. I'm here for it, but
how Christina Ricci's character survived. Like, it's like, did she fake her own death? Like, what happened there?
Yeah.
Because, they say, like, they never recovered the body, like, but yada, yada, yada. So, like, what happened to her?
Yeah.
What's going to happen to Tyler the Hyde? It sort of does, like, he does sort of lay that track that, like, he like, enjoys this about himself.
Yeah.
That, like, he is aware. He has become, like, aware when he is in Hyde mode. So, like, how much is he tethered to Christina Ricci's, like, control over him, and, like, how much he's autonomous?
We also, the Bianca storyline with her mom.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's not really tied up.
That's not really tied up at all.
No, not at all. Let's see. What else? Even the storyline from the past of, what's the principal's name? Weems? The principal, Weems is her history with Morticia and Gomez. Like, it's alleged, it's alluded to several times, but, like, we don't even really fully find out that. So, as much as I would like to see them go a different direction in season 2, because I feel like everything was pretty well wrapped up in 1.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah, I feel like there will be a different, like, big bad and, like, a different mystery to solve, yes. I would imagine.
Yes. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we have some feedback about the episode, and then we'll again wish Shandy a happy birthday. So, here you go. All right, we're back. We're ready to get into some feedback. Our first feedback is from Matt, and it is about Wednesday.
It is indeed. Hey, broads. Well, we were pretty much in lockstep with TSLOCG.
Sex Lives of College Girls.
Thank you.
The Sex Lives of College Girls.
Yep. Took me a minute to realize what that...
Yeah.
How spelling works, but
T-slop.
Yeah. You can see why they don't use that.
Blink twice. It's German.
It's German. Where college is free. That's a whole different show.
And nobody works on Sunday.
Yep. Totally different show. Well, we were pretty much in lockstep with Sex Life of College Girl last month outside of the video game thing. So let's see if we repeat. Let's see. I have a feeling we'll mostly repeat. All right, here we go.
Challenge accepted.
Exactly. I checked out Wednesday shortly after it came out because it had all that hype that apparently everyone watched it, and also being a fan of the Addams Family since I was a kid.
So far, so good?
So far, so good. Ultimately, it was a pretty fun show, although I think maybe a little overpraised. Still good, don't get me wrong. And anything to add to the Ricci-sance.
Yes.
Jenna Ortega is really good as the eponymous character. She's been a solid actress going back to when she played young Jane on Jane the Virgin. No way.
Oh.
I see it now. It's not an easy character to write or pull off, and she and the writers do.
Agreed.
Pull it off, that is. Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this show now has baggage since Percy Hines White.
What?
Is that how we want to say that name? Hines?
Yes.
I would guess so.
Has been
Shandy
accused of
and I
sexual
both
assault.
highlighted the name. I think we're both Googling it at the moment.
Yep. Hold for Google. Hold for Google.
Oh, please be the guy that's the murderer, not the one that's the cute love interest. Oh no, it's Xander!
Oh, of course.
No.
We can't have
Xavier, sorry, Xavier. Oh no!
The story seemed to go away pretty quick, so I guess we'll see if he sticks around or if they poochie him. I don't get that reference.
Poochie, hold on. Let me go back to Poochie.
Wait,
Poochie's...
Google that one too, guys.
Yeah.
Hold
Real
for
quick
Google.
though, hold for Google while we're doing that. That guy looked like somebody. Other than Brian Mangan, who Amanda and I only know. But who else did he look like?
Xavier?
Yeah, like, he looked like Brian Mangum, but, like, he also looked like another famous person, right?
I don't know if he looked like Brian Mangan.
Young Brian Mangum when we went to college?
I mean, I guess now that you say it, but that was not, like, watching it. I wasn't like, oh, that's Brian Mangan.
I was.
But he does look, there is something, there is something familiar about him, but I agree. I can't place the why.
Very familiar.
Have we figured out what Poochie is?
I've got Poochie, the Itchy and Scratchy show.
From like
1984?
The Simpsons?
I don't know. Poochie is is Simpsons, yes, anyway. Simpsons. Air date was February 9th, 1997. Happy birthday, Alex. 21 years before you were born. Holy shit, old.
Anyway.
Did that math real quick.
They don't always hit everybody.
Anyway, all right.
Anyway. Nevertheless, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. If this wasn't mentioned, sorry for being a buzzkill. Well, you did kind of just derail the whole show. Like, whatever, it's fine. It's fine.
Just a Google kill.
Yeah, it's a Google kill.
We needed to know.
We did need to know.
Yeah.
That Wednesday dance was pretty cool, huh? It was indeed. And it introduced a new generation to the Cramps. That was a great song. It also introduced me to that song. I didn't know it previously. All's that to say from Matt. Thank you, Matt.
Oh my God.
So I think we're still pretty much on the same page, with like a little divergent on some of the nuance, but we're pretty much
yeah, we're basically there.
Yeah,
cool.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Appreciated. The next bit of feedback is now we're moving off of the Wednesday feedback, and it's from Jessica, and she says, "For me, when I get a haircut, I don't wash it for a day or two. Whenever I go get my hair done, my stylist loves to curl my hair, and when she does, it stays. When I curl my hair, I can't get it to stay, so it's a nice treat." Well, there you go.
Nice.
There you go.
All right, then we are going to finish up real quick with 2 voicemails. It's actually like 1 1/8 voicemail from Maggie. I don't believe that this is Wednesday related. So here you go.
Hey, Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen, it's Maggie. Calling in. Happy February. Happy birthday, Colleen, later this week. As you listen to this, it's already passed by the time everybody else has listened to this, but happy birthday. Not sure where January went, but I'm glad it's February. So you guys were talking about fraternities and sororities with talking about the sex lives of college girls, which I haven't watched, but I do want to, even though I've listened to the spoilers, but I'll end up forgetting character names anyway. And you guys were talking about fraternities and sororities, and I was in a co-ed service fraternity, so the whole goal was you had to get service hours. So it was a little less like the frats, because it was co-ed and frats and sororities. So, I mean, we didn't have a house or anything. I mean, we did have chapter where we met once a week. I feel like it was once a week. And then we go out to drink afterwards. But my favorite one was always drunk chapter. Once, it was usually the end of the year, there was the meeting where everyone was drunk. And we used to yell. There was this thing we would yell. You'd start singing, skip around the room, skip around the room. We won't shut up until you skip around the room. And then whoever's speaking had to like skip around the room. So yeah, it was pretty fun. So I enjoyed being a part of that. Also talking about like parties and stuff. I went to a porn party in college as well. It was not associated with a frat or sorority. I really don't remember how I got invited to this, but definitely went. Very interesting. Only did it once. Kind of an interesting experience. So, college, man.
Woo!
Lots of fun, lots of things happen in college. So thank you for those college memories. I appreciate it. Colleen, you mentioned something about wanting to binge The Last of Us or wait till there's a few more episodes. I totally get that, but there is also something really fun about watching a show and having a week to think about it and listen to podcasts about it.
It's fair.
3, 4, 5 podcasts I listen to about The Last of Us in the week. And it's just, I really like it. It reminds me of Lost. Every time I find a podcast about a show, I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I do. I did it with Lost. I did it, done it with many other shows. So, I like the waiting sometimes. Sometimes it's enough.
Oh, hold please. New voicemail for Maggie. Part 2. Go.
Hi, it's me again. I swear I was almost done. I need like a 5-second, almost done. Wrap it up, Maggie. Sorry for the rambling.
I'm going to stop you right there, Maggie. Yes, we need an orchestra. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just totally kidding.
I know you will be very upset if I do not say goodbye, so I have to call back to say goodbye. So I will try to stop by the live show tonight. Not sure I can stay the whole time, but we'll see. So I will talk to you ladies soon. Goodbye!
Bye-bye!
Maggie does have a point about sometimes, the pleasure of watching a show weekly and then listening to the various podcasts in between. That's like, for like Survivor and like Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, those kinds of shows, like I definitely have a couple of podcasts lined up for the week in between, and it makes the pleasure last longer, if you will.
And that's what she said.
Draws it out. Yeah. Tantric TV watching.
No, I totally get it too.
Me too.
I've gotten very spoiled.
We all have.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of how, just the way we consume content. I can't even really call it television anymore.
Yeah.
It's like the way we consume
extended movies.
Serialized storytelling. Yeah. It's changing.
Yeah, but I do miss the same thrill that you get from Survivor, speculating what's going to happen this week, next week. I guess I do kind of miss that, but at the same time, when things come out weekly or whatever in one of the streaming services, I have control over when the start date is for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyway, oh my God, Maggie also mentioned stuff that you did in college. Amanda, what was the thing that we did at the end of the year for MICTA with the giant bowl full of stuff with the gummy worms?
Party.
The yuck party, yes. That reminded me of the yuck party. The yuck party was always so much fun.
I only ever went to one, I think. I don't think I was enough of a member of the club to go as a underclassman.
I think it was actually only seniors. No, because Matt A.
Yeah,
hosted it. So I must have gone to 2 because he was a year behind us. But the one year that we did that, I believe we also did a lost viewing party, and that's why that reminded me of this whole thing. Oh, good times. Good times back in the days where Jay was just a podcaster to me, and I had no idea who he was.
That's so wild.
It is wild to think about those days, actually.
Well, it is crazy that in college you were you were listening to the podcast at the time.
I did. But my first Lost podcast experience was actually Ryan and Jen. Jen, rest in peace, who passed away August 2021. They were like the biggest ones for a hot minute, and then they decided that, they were going to step back and not do it, and they made some recommendations, and one of theirs was Jay and Jack. And I was like, all right, I'll give them a try. And then I was like, this voice sounds like my soulmate. Not really, but...
Your your 20-year-old self was like,
I can write my story any way I want to now.
I love it. Yeah. All the flourishes, you just take that pen and color on whatever wall you see fit.
I think I was mainly like, why is this kid letting his dad make fun of him all the time? All right, I'll keep listening. Anyway,
the rest, as they say,
is history.
Yep.
Or, as we say, her story.
Her story. So clever.
All right, everyone. On that note, thank you so much for listening. If you ever decide, if we ever figure out who Poochie is, let us know.
Yeah, we all know Matt's going to mansplain it to us next week, so it'll be fine. We'll
Exactly.
Thank you in advance.
Thank you in advance.
Yes. Again, happy birthday, Shandy. Welcome to the 39 Club. Hey, yay. Last year of our 30s, bitches. It's starting now.
Live it up.
All right. And have a wonderful birthday trip. We will be back.
Thank you.
We'll be back. Our next time that we're recording is actually going to be Thursday, March 2nd, which will be the day after Survivor premieres. So, Jamie, I think, Jamie, Jack, and I will be talking about Survivor on the 1st, so that will come out then. The next, topical show that we do here is going to be on we're going to be recording it March 14th, and that will be Now and Then and Stand By Me, with a maybe bonus of Casper. We never really landed on that because I said that a couple of weeks ago, I said that we were going to let everybody vote on it, and then I totally freaking forgot because, 3 glasses of champagne will do that to you.
I think at the brunch, though, we did land on just sticking with Stand By Me. Even though I always vote for Casper, but I'm cool with...
Well, I had this idea.
It can also just be like extra credit.
Yeah, exactly, extra credit.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, if we get to it, cool. If not, extra credit.
We tried.
Okay.
Extra Casper, if you will. EC. I also have this idea that, maybe we each pick at some point, August, September, October, our favorite, old school movies and, talk about it, because I really, really want to talk about First Wives Club. I think that would be so much fun.
And I've never seen it.
Oh,
which is why I think it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I was literally going to say, it holds up. And I was like, I haven't probably watched it in 10 years. It might not hold up. Huh, I wonder. Yeah, I'm on board for this.
I was thinking of, okay, what movies could we each pick, from that era where we could just do the First Wives Club? Because, again, it's a very fun movie. But I don't know if it holds up. I think it does, but I don't know. There's a lot that I need to work out from watching it as a child that I feel like we could talk through, and it would be very therapeutic for me. Yeah. I was a grown-up person before I understood that the joke about Sarah Jessica Parker's character being a 12-year-old was actually just a joke, and not that she was actually portraying a 12-year-old. Shandy, you'll get it when you see it.
I'll understand that soon enough. I'll also be an adult when I learn that joke.
Exactly. And
we'll have that in common.
It probably will land very poorly for a grown-up person to watch it. A grown-up woman to watch it, rather.
For the first time.
Anyway, on that note, thank you everybody for listening. We appreciate it. Thank you to the patrons, especially the ones that contribute to a certain level, and that'd be Eckhart McNair, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with a Plan, and Ed the creepy poopy head mailman. listen to the other shows on the network, and that would be Rumblecast After Dark, Survivor JJC. If Amazing Race is back, Amazing Race with Jack and Cindy, I have no idea what's going to happen 2 weeks from now, but like maybe it'll be back. And yeah. If you have any feedback, thebroadcasters3@gmail.com, or you can give us a call like Maggie did, 331-276-2373. Does anybody have anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week. On that note, my name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.